Hello and welcome to another video. Here I am going to go more into depth of what kind of Lux vehicle you should get and why. And in reality, there's some really good sedan options, but at the end of the day, diversification is key. So that means that you have to select an SUV with a third row. That way you can do XL and Lux, because there are times when Lux is in demand and you'll be fine with that, and there are times when it's not, and if you're on a bonus or a streak and you need to finish it, you gotta switch to the XL. Um, so real quick, with this, you're gonna need to create two separate car profiles. What do I mean by that? You're gonna create two separate car profiles for the same car on Lyft. One, which is going to contain it's the same vehicle. It's just that one profile is going to have five seats, and the other is going to have seven. That way, when Lux is in demand, you'll have the ability to just do Lux. And then when Lux is not in demand, you can switch to this and then do XL. Now, you're thinking, why should I do that? Well, I can't speak for all areas, but at least in Chicago, when Lux is in demand, it's there's no reason why you shouldn't be driving it. You know, um, if you're if you're consistently getting Lux pings, there's no point in wasting time doing XL. Especially if you're on a streak, just keep driving on with Lux. That's what I do, and that's really going to make a difference. At the end of the day, it's only like a few dollars difference between Lux and XL, right, as far as pay. But when you're really trying to crunch down numbers, that could be an extra, $10 or $15 an hour. Same vehicle. Um, you know, Generally, the most of the time, it's only going to be one or two people. So it's going to be less weight, more pay. Less weight usually means better gas mileage. So let's get this started. So the criteria that I selected is obviously all these vehicles I'm about to show you are on the Lyft Lux platform, and they all have third row seating. They have to be 2017 or newer, under 30,000 miles, and I have to have leather interior. That's actually one of the requirements for a Lyft Lux. Have to have a leather interior. Um, I mean, obviously, no one's going to inspect you if you do, if you don't have leather interior. But just from my experiences, to deal with messes and cleaning, you're much better off with leather seats rather than cloth seats. Cloth seats are just an absolute nightmare to clean, especially if you get vomit on it. So with that being said, let's get started. The first one on this list is a Nissan Armada 2017. Now, before I break this down, you might be asking why 2017? Well, the reason why I have 2017 as the minimum year is because the minimum year for a Lux vehicle for this current year is 2015 or newer. So obviously, you want to have a vehicle that you can use for this year, and then ideally next year, and then you can, so you can get a 2016 and do just fine, but if you want to keep the vehicle for a little bit longer, I would say the minimum is 2017. Now, if you find like a 2018 or 2019 or 2020, even better. You can keep the vehicle even longer. Um, but I didn't really do that much research into repairs, so take this list kind of with a grain of salt. and kind of make your final decision based on overall repair cost. And what you can do for that is that KellyBlueBook.com has a link to where it will show you 50,000 mile cost to own, and then you just look up these vehicles, whichever one interests you, and kind of see what the cost is. Anyways, so the first one on this list is the Nissan Armada. It was the cheapest one I found. This is a countrywide search, so it's not just Chicago exclusive. So this one's selling for 26,000. It's a black exterior, which is always nice, and it has third row. It is a mid-sized SUV. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it will get the job done. So you can get into this for as little as 26,000. Next vehicle on this list is an Infiniti QX80 for 28,500. There were a couple others that were cheaper, but I decided to go with this one because this one only has 22,000 miles. So yeah, I mean, it looks a little bit better than the Nissan Armada. At the end of the day, it's kind of all about personal taste and interest and things like that. Another mid-sized SUV with a third row, so the third row is not going to have a whole lot of space here. So this is a vehicle that I've seen quite a lot of. Most of I would say the vast majority of the people in Chicago I've seen that have are doing something like this all have Acura MDXs, and it's good value. It's 29,000. It's 25,000 miles. Pretty good. The exterior of the vehicle doesn't look bad. If you don't mind, being like everyone else having the same vehicle, I mean this will work just great. I mean obviously the interior doesn't look good, but for what you need it to be, for under 30,000 miles, this is pretty cheap, very pretty affordable, and for under 30,000, this is probably a good deal. Next on this list is a vehicle that is the vehicle I drive. I mean, I drive the 2019 Q7 3.0, and I have it tricked out. But this is a 2017 3.0. There were a few other 2.0 turbos. But this one surprisingly only had 16,000, and it was only like $3,000 or $4,000 difference. So this is the perfect vehicle. Pretty much drive it into the ground. It's got for this vehicle is a steal. I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. The vehicle is going to look absolutely amazing. You got the full moonroof. Don't worry about the navigation. You're not really going to be using it for that. I don't think this vehicle comes with Android Auto, so be mindful of that. I believe it's the 2018 or 2019 that started with Android Auto. So you will have to basically run off your phone. But for like 5,000 more, you can get a 2019 and have Android Auto, so that way you can use the screen for your navigation. Next up on the list is the Infiniti QX80. It's basically just a larger version of the QX60 for 41,000. Not a bad deal. It is essentially a full-size SUV. I have not personally sat in one, So I can't tell you, I can't tell you how much space it is, but it definitely looks like it's got, more space. This looks to be more in the line of a full size SUV category. So definitely good if you know, in that aspect because space is very valuable. Next on this list is a Ford Expedition. Now, this vehicle obviously is not going to be the best in gas mileage, but something that you will learn is that the more valuable aspects of doing Lux is having a vehicle with lots of space. Now, obviously, there are mid-sized SUVs like the Q7 that has plenty of second row seating, but when you're doing SL rides, it's not the third row is kind of small. Getting a Ford Expedition is going to change that. Because obviously this is a full-size SUV, so there's going to be plenty of room for the third row, and plenty of room for luggage. So ease of access and space. This is definitely a good vehicle to get for that aspect. Next on the list is the Chevy Tahoe. Really, not much to say about it. It's basically the equivalent of a Ford Expedition, regular Ford Expedition. So it's just really just about personal taste, whether you're a Ford guy or a Chevy guy. Next on this list is a Suburban. This is the first true full-sized SUV on this list. What that means is that it has, a super amount of space for luggage, and it has even more space for the third row. So I'll kind of go into more detail about these kinds of vehicles in a little bit. Next on this list is the GMC Yukon. Again, kind of in the line with the Tahoe and the regular Expedition. So really just kind of personal preference of what kind of vehicle you like. Again, it's all pretty much the same thing. Next on this list is a Toyota Sequoia. Now, I have not been in a Toyota Sequoia before, so I can't really say how comfortable it is for the third row. But again, I would say this is in line with the Tahoe, and with that aspect, this vehicle is a little overpriced. I would advise against getting a Sequoia because you can get a better vehicle with for $4,000 or $5,000 less. Next on this list is a Ford Expedition Max. This is pretty much just a Chevy Suburban. But if you're a Ford guy over a Chevy guy, then this is what you would get. Next on this list is a GMC Yukon XL. Again, it's in the line of full-size SUVs. Own personal preference. And last on this list, I mean, there's obviously other vehicles that you can get, but I'm really looking more for. Actually, I'm not even sure if this Tesla has a third row, but there are Model Ys that do have a third row. So, yeah, I'm not. So obviously, you want to look for a Model Y with a third row, but if you have easy access to charging, this is a good vehicle to get. But if you're in an area where you're not close to a charger, this might not be a good choice for you. But for me, my apartment gives me free EV charging, so um, I might actually be switching to a Model Y at the end of the year if the one I'm getting from the factory comes in on time. Anyway, so to kind of break this down, we have our mid-size SUVs with the third row. This is kind of more full size. Um, yeah, so you have these kind of at the bottom, and then you have the Expedition, the Tahoe, the Yukon. At the middle tier. So basically, these vehicles will have kind of a cramped third row, but they do technically qualify for all ride types. And then this is middle of the row, where it's got more space in the third row. But obviously, most of these vehicles are going to have a little bit less gas mileage. And then you have the full size SUVs, and so the real question now is, Brandon, if you were to start this all over again, knowing everything that you know about customers, about ride sharing, everything I've learned, what would you pick? Well, I would actually pick a. I wouldn't pick a midsize SUV. As much as I love my Q7, um, it's not about it's not about that. You need um, when it comes to flexibility, you need that third row to be somewhat comfortable. And I haven't really had any complaints directly about it, but when I do pick up 5 or 6 people, you can tell that the people in the third row, when they're not kids or teenagers, that they're a little cramped up. So to kind of ease everyone and give them a more comfortable experience. Um, I would stick vehicles. I would stick with vehicles in this list, and really, it's just kind of dependent upon on you and what kind of if you're a Ford guy, a Chevy guy, a GMC guy, or an Infinity guy. Me personally, if I between the vehicles on this list, if I could choose between any of them, I would actually go with the Yukon XL. To me, this vehicle looks the best, and it's the newest year, or the newest year vehicle out of all the vehicles on this list. So that means that I can keep it for this year, and then 23. So it's 15, 16. Yeah, so 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26. I can get this vehicle until the end of 2027, which is crazy. I mean, if you could run this to the ground, and I've seen Tahoes, I've seen Yukon XLs with 300,000 miles on it. I mean, it's going to require maintenance when you get to the higher levels, but this vehicle is definitely capable of being used as a long-term vehicle, and it's got the space, and then it's got these charges here in the middle, where you can get an adapter and get them get them some chargers for their cell phones. Definitely an important tool here. And then the cool thing is that if you get like a short one, They can just stick their phone right there, and and just make sure you remind them to pick up their phone after you're done dropping them off. Now, you're thinking, what kind of gas mileage am I gonna get here? Well, you're not getting it for the gas mileage. You're getting it for you're getting it for the space, really. And it to me it looks better than the equivalent suburban or the expedition here on this list. And of course, this is newest year, so it's gonna have the newest interior. Now you're thinking, now why would you choose this over an Audi Q7? Well, the Audi Q7 might have that full moonroof and ambient lighting and things like that. But at the end of the day, the most valuable thing is space. And this thing has all the space in the world. I've ran into instances where I've picked up a group of 6 people. They all had full size luggage. I've had to reject them because obviously that can't fit in my vehicle. But if I pull it up in this, and I'm like, hey, I can't take, I'm not gonna take, kind of incentivize them to be like, hey, I'm not gonna take you, but I'll consider it. Kind of leave it open ended to where like they, where they offer you a cash tip, but be very just use words carefully and let them present you the offer. You're like, oh yeah, well, you guys got too much stuff. I'm not gonna take you. And then if they're like, oh well, you got plenty of space, yeah, well, you still have too much stuff. It's just it's too much weight. And then just go ahead and cancel for too much luggage. But if they're like, oh hey, we'll give you extra, well, it'd be like, cash or Venmo. If they give you $20, then do it. If not, then just keep it and move on. Um, Unless you want to take them, but honestly, I wouldn't, because what's gonna happen is that the next person they're gonna get might be a Toyota Sienna, and they're not gonna be able to take that and take that large crowd of 6 and hold all their luggage either. And they're gonna keep going through cycles and cycles of people until they eventually get another vehicle like this, and I'm like, oh hey man, don't cancel on us, so we'll give you a cash tip, and that's kind of generally how it goes. And then one cool thing about this is that while you're doing Lux, um, you know, you can just leave the front passenger, leave the seat all the way up, and then to kind of make that like your own personal space, because the second and third row seating can fit 5, so there's no reason for anyone to go in the front. So if you're doing like a huge 12-hour stint, you can have the front, put like a cooler in the bottom there, for your drinks and your lunch and dinner. I would always advise that. Don't go out and eat every day for lunch. Go and go buy water bottles. $4 for a pack of 24, and then just get like some drink mix powder, and then just shake that up and use that, or get a or just get a water cup, like a large water canister. Get a few of those, and then I get like a bitter water filter, and then mix all that up, put it in that cooler. Get a good amount of ice packs. Get like 6 to 10 ice packs so that you can kind of cycle between the two every other day. And make sure you bring lunch and dinner with you. And for those days when you're going to be out for a while, or if you live far away from the area where you're going to drive. Like let's say that you live you know in 20 miles west of Chicago, and you want to be spending all day in the city because that's obviously where all the money is. Well, again, to save yourself some money, make sure you bring some food that you can have with you. um, Now you can even go as far as getting a portable, like a cooker. I believe this the back section here has the very back has a section, has a plug where you can plug in, and you can use like a low power cooker, um, or you can even just pop this in, and then use that. And you know what might be a good thing is, if you end up close to the airport and you're like, I'm getting kind of hungry, just pull up an airport queue. And then while you're waiting, the hour or two for the ride, just take your break and eat your lunch, and that way you're still in the queue, and you're making use of your time while you're taking a break. Now obviously, if you're just powering out rides, then you don't need to do that, and just make sure that you bring food that you can just eat real quick, like a sandwich, or eggs, or whatever else. You can meal prep it away, and then just eat it cold every day. So yeah, I would say, if I were to start all over again, this would be the vehicle I would get. It's got low mileage. It's got the it's and it qualifies for everything. Um, you'll stay busy. And again, you're gonna need to bounce between both apps. Like if you're looking to push, like, to do this full time, you're gonna need to use both apps. Even if you're not doing this full time, you're gonna need to be on both apps. Because there are times when Lyft pays better, and there are times when Uber pays better. And with this upfront pricing coming to Chicago for Uber, um, that I we don't know how it's gonna go because it hasn't come out yet. But at least now you'll be able to know where you're going. So like if you're trying to knock out a quest, just only accept rides that are like 2 miles or less, and just keep slamming them and get your quest done that quickly. Because with this you can do XL, and if XL isn't pinging fast enough for you, then you can just turn on Comfort and just knock out the rides if they're good enough. Like this weekend, um, I could do a 100 rides and get $840, which is rather insane. I mean, I'm not gonna do that, just kind of because I don't know, um, just because I'm not gonna stick to that because there are times when Lyft will just pay ridiculous numbers, and obviously Lyft Lux pays better than Uber or Lyft XL, not accounting for bonuses. So always keep that in mind and be flexible. Again, this would be the vehicle I get. Obviously, the market changes. This exact vehicle may not be available when you're looking, but pretty much, any of the vehicles that are, the Ford Expedition Plus, the large or super sized SUVs, I would call, would be the choice here. Gas mileage, don't worry too much about that. Yes, it's only going to be 15 city, 25, which is going to be less. It's more going to be like 10 city, like 12 or 15 highway. But then again, the reason why overall I'm saying this, not just from everything I mentioned before, but the space. I can tell you that when you're picking up like a large group or just a group of large people, which you are going to get those as well. Um, they're not going to have any issue with this vehicle. Doesn't matter if they're big or small. They're going to have plenty of space, and for that and that reason alone, you're going to have the highest. You're gonna have some really high tip ratios. Like I'm gonna look at my tips for today. Driving the Q7. I did 15 rides today, and I only got 3 tips. So, not that great. But I mean, there are times when I get a lot higher. But just from people that I've spoken to, they say they'd rather value space over a nicer vehicle when you're doing Lux and XL. So if you have any questions or any advice, or if you have, you need any advice, just leave it in the comments below, and I'll be happy to help out.